assistant coach of the brand new rugby team here in Houston, the Houston Strikers. Coach Justin Fitzpatrick from Ireland and Coach Sam Windsor from Australia. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Coach. We were just talking about you guys have not been in Houston very long. Little adjustment to the weather?
A little bit, yeah. It's a lot warmer down here. Been up in the Pacific Northwest for the last 4 years in Seattle, so it's a little bit more humid, a little bit warmer down here, but really enjoying the change.
Coach Windsor?
Yeah, I've obviously grew up in Australia, so the heat isn't too much of a shock to me. But spending a couple of years in Europe, the winters get pretty long up there, and to come out here and it hits you pretty hard. But I'm enjoying the heat, and I think it's only making me fitter, to be honest.
Sounds like you said you're enjoying the hate. I hope people don't hear that and think that. You're enjoying the heat here in Houston. The Houston Strikers is what y'all are going to take the field as. What do you get the sense that people here and what you've seen so far will take to seeing the sport on a regular basis here over the course of the season?
I think Americans in general are pretty impressed by rugby as a sport. Football, dominates the headlines and it's probably the most popular sport. And then you mention rugby to someone, you just see their face light up with excitement because I think they have a whole new respect for a rugby player. We lose the helmets and the pads, and it's just shoulder on shoulder, bones on bones for 80 minutes straight. So that's really, I think, gathering a lot of momentum, and people are keen to come out and watch us play. So if that stays true to the word, then we're going to have a pretty solid supporter base.
I think the people get so excited about it because when you say it, you're as excited as they are. Yeah, it's bone on bone. It's bone crushing, nonstop, beating people over the head by running into them.
Yeah, and then we shake hands at the end of the game, share a beer, and it's everyone's mates again. So it's good fun.
That sounds like the everyday man.
I want to join right now just for the after party. Okay, 11 teams are launching this year. 3 in Texas: the Houston Strikers, the Austin Huns, and the Dallas Griffins. But you guys will play how many games per season?
It'll range from 20 to 25 regarding when the season's fully locked in and official. I think we're playing, including some warm-up friendlies, and hopefully some playoff games will be 20, 25.
Yeah, in around that number.
And how will your playoffs be set up?
To be decided. The league is due to officially launch very shortly, so we'll find out then. But I would imagine a quarterfinal, semi-final situation.
We're talking to the 2 coaches for the new Houston team, the Houston Strikers, a Major League Rugby team. Coach, tell me a little bit about your background.
I'm a former Irish international, played nearly 20 years of professional rugby in Europe with Ulster, Castelolympic in France, and London Irish in England.
Now let me stop you right there. How do you play 20 years of rugby? Because I got to imagine you guys have the same knee problems, elbow problems, shoulder problems as American football players, except you guys are doing without pads.
Well, I'm feeling it now, put it that way. But no, a little bit of luck. I never suffered any major injuries really until my final year of playing, and just looked after myself and was very lucky.
Same situation here?
Well, yeah, similar. I'm still playing. I've still got a few years left in the body, hopefully. So I grew up in Australia, played 15 years of amateur footy, club footy, took some opportunities in Europe with the Worcester Warriors, and then similar to Justin, I played at Ulster for a couple of years up in Belfast, and wasn't getting the opportunity I thought I needed and wanted, so took a chance to come out to the States and linked up with Fitzy and was with him in Seattle for 5 months this year, and then took the opportunity to come down here.
How do you feel about that, taking a chance? I mean, this is obviously a new operation, new league, bunch of new cities. It's not a new sport. It certainly shouldn't be treated as a new sport to people here, but it's obviously not commonplace every day. It's certainly to have a season going on here in the States.
America, they've tried a couple of times, and it's almost got there, and it's always been there or thereabouts. And I think this time around, everything is in order, and the people are in the right places, and the structure in place to make it really succeed. I think they might have got ahead of themselves in previous years and expected it to boom like Major League Soccer or football years ago. So this time around, we're confident that the structures and the processes are going to bring a competitive game, a popular game, and a consumer-friendly game.
You're going to have some locals, hopefully, trying to find themselves into a Strikers uniform?
Yeah, we've signed, I think we've signed a half a dozen guys now that are local, if not Texas, definitely Houston players. And a couple of them were from the first combine we held a couple of weeks ago. And then we have another one on the 19th of this month up at the ATH up in the north of the city. So we're up 30 plus participants at that one. So we've got our eyes on a few guys coming to that, and we'll hopefully extend our squad.
Tell me about. I got one question about the combine in particular. Have you had somebody come out that looks the part? Man, this guy. Watching him run, I can see this guy can play, and then he has no idea what he's doing.
Well, I think there's an opportunity in what we're doing, not just for guys that are familiar with rugby, but also those crossover athletes. I mean, Houston's a massive sporting city. There's so many good collegiate, high school and professional teams here. So there is an opportunity for guys that haven't experienced rugby firsthand, but have an athletic pedigree, whether that's football, basketball, track and field, wrestling, whatever it is, to come out and give it a go. In certain positions, we can teach you how to play the game if you've got that world-class athleticism.
Well, I've noticed that it's the fastest growing sport in the U.S. 350% participation increase since 2004, which is pretty amazing. I would think that one of the hurdles that you have to get over is just the knowledge of the game, because when I grew up, we never played soccer here. It's huge now here in Houston, but when I was growing up, it was baseball, basketball, football. So teaching guys about the game and getting them to know the rules of the game, it had been an educational process.
Yeah, I mean, it is a process, as you say, although I think there's a lot of similarities in rugby with other sports. Football's a derivative of rugby, so there's a 100-year divergence almost between the two sports. There's a lot of similarities that you can, if you're familiar with football, you'll spot in rugby. Basketball was constructed by a rugby coach who wanted to give his athletes something to do in the winter. So there's some similarities there as well. So, and as Sam alluded to, there's 2 40-minute halves there with over 42, 43 minutes of whistle-to-whistle actions. There's a lot to be excited about, and a lot of time there to learn and pick up the sport as it goes through the game.
I definitely want to come watch it, but explain one thing to me: the scrum. I've always liked watching the scrum, but I've never understood the scrum.
I'll let Justin take the lead on this one. It's definitely not my part of the game.
The scrum's like the scrimmage. It's a means to restart the game. So I like the scrimmage.
But you guys are all in there like interlocked. And
They're tight. They're close. They're hugging. They're friends. He said it was a friendly. They're just hanging out.
There we go.
Oh, I got to think there's a few words passed back and forth that the game is getting a little bit rough.
Not just words. I think there'll be a few cheeky side elbows and a couple of knuckles. And
I'm liking this sport more and more as you go.
We can have you both down and put you in a scrum. No problem at all. You come down to practice. Well, we can make that work.
Coach, I'm not like you. I'm already beat up enough. I know when to stop, so I'm going to stop then. So tell everybody, our listeners again, you're going to have another combine, right?
Yep.
And it's going to be August 19th from 8 to noon.
Yep. Is
there a website that they can go to?
They can get on our Facebook page. We've got links up there for registration. It's open to everyone, 18 and older.
Just under Houston Strikers?
Under Strikers Rugby on Facebook. We're pumping it up pretty hard across all medias, but we're encouraging the team and think they can make it as a professional rugby player in the country, in the city. Then by all means, they're welcome to come, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How many players are you allowed to carry on a team?
We're allowed to carry up to 40 within our squad. So a lot of opportunities, and we want to see guys from the Houston area representing their team.
Now, is there? How do you substitute guys? Are there timeouts?
Yes, there's a match day squad of 23, so 15 are on the field at all times, and then you'll have 8 reserves, and sometimes those reserves don't get subbed in. If there's an injury, they'll get replaced. If there's a blood replacement, they come back on and off. So that's where it gets tactical. So your bigger guys normally go for 60, 65 minutes, and by the end of that they've had 15 or 20 scrums, and they're done. So you'll have a couple of extra guys on the bench to come in on that side of things, or you'll have an impact player who is good for 20, 25 minutes and can change the game. So it's a stoppage in play. There's no injury timeouts or anything. If the ball goes out of play, then the referee will blow his whistle and make a substitution, and game continues.
Impact player, often the speediest guy you got?
Sometimes, yeah. Could be the speediest guys, but he also could be the biggest and the strongest, so he might only be good for 5 or 6 runs in a game, so you want to bring him on when the other team's struggling a bit.
So what does he do in those 5 or 6 minutes? Just beats people around? Just runs into everybody, right?
People are going to try and tackle him, and he'll likely either run over them or run around them, depending on his specialty. But they're the ones that, you know, they're normally the crowd favourites.
Of course.
And that's, so hopefully people come out, and we've got a couple of them in our side.
You were mentioning earlier, Sam. What do you think is different about this venture? Obviously, there's several southwestern located teams, Dallas, New Orleans, and Houston, and several of those. It would seem like that's one of the things they think can help a great deal to making this a successful league.
I think it's the group love of rugby, and people want rugby to succeed. They don't want the business to succeed. They don't want, and they're not looking to make a quick buck off a competition or a league. You know, America's been screaming out for a pro rugby team, well, you know, countrywide for so long. Fortunately, the Olympics the other year with the Sevens put rugby on the map, really put it on the centre stage, and America was, you know, a front runner for a medal there. And unfortunately, the game of rugby, you know, can turn at the, you know, drop of a hat, especially in Sevens. So if we can feed off that and just build the knowledge of rugby and the appreciation of rugby across the country, I think you know, we'll slowly but surely work our way up to that level.
That's the voice of Houston head coach Justin Fitzpatrick and assistant coach Sam Windsor. I think you're going to be a player coach,
Yes.
Sam.
Yeah.
The league will kick off November 11th and November 12th. Do you have your playing venue? Has that already been decided?
It's to be announced.
Will you come back on and tell us?
Would love to.
Yeah. And did you both you guys start playing soccer, then graduate to rugby?
I did, yeah. For 5 or 6, I played soccer, and then by age of 7, I was playing rugby.
No, always rugby.
All right, I know we're running over, but I do want to ask this question. In the game of pro football, a lot of talk about CTE and head injuries. You guys, how is that being addressed in rugby?
In World Rugby, our global governing body, is at the forefront of safety within concussion, and statistically, rugby is a lot safer than football, for example, and many other sports. A lot to do with the way that we teach and the laws are applied around the tackle. So it's the head is taken out of the tackle, and that has a dramatic effect in lowering the risk of concussion.
All right, Houston Strikers, if you want to try out 8 to 12 next, the 19th. And where is that again?
Athlete Training and Health up North Houston, Stubline Airline Road.
Yeah, Student Airline. Great. You're learning the city quickly.
Yeah.
All right, well, best of luck to you guys. I will be an active visitor, or I'll be buying a ticket to watch. Yeah, I want to come and watch you guys. Best of luck to you guys. Glad you could make it in today.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.